And I'll put this one over here, out of the way. You should now, gentlemen, be able to see the Log4OM screen. Yep.
Yep.
Yep, that's
Good.
fine.
You have to excuse me if I make a few scraps with this, but I'm actually holding this webinar for the first time ever, so I don't quite know what I'm doing. That should be better because you should be able to see that quite okay now. For those of you who have not experienced Log4OM before, basically you type your call sign in here, in the top left-hand corner, and we automatically do the lookup, picks all the stuff up from qrz.com or hamqth, and displays an image that the users put on the top, and draws on the map the path to the user, and it shows a large-scale map of where he lives. It tells you on the left-hand side here if you worked the country before and on what bands and modes. And on the right-hand side, you've got a handy user band map for the cluster. And as you're talking to the guy, you can add information or update information as you wish by clicking on the various tabs. He might, for instance, be an IOTA person, and you want to add his IOTA island like that. And, that's your station. Oh dear, I'm not using the right radio. Let's change the radio to the correct radio. And extended information. You might find he belongs to a club or association. Perhaps he's on FIS and he has a FIS number, and we'll add that. So all that information can be put in, and then you just add by clicking the cross or by pressing the enter key on the keyboard. That QSO has now been saved. And if you look in the recent QSO window, there's the QSO highlighted in blue. If you type in another call sign, that's somebody I've worked before who's present tonight. I'm sure he doesn't mind me using his lookup. That's
Not at all, Terry. You're most welcome.
Graham with his profile picture. And as you'll see, it says work before in green just here on the right. When I click on that, it brings up the work before list. Apparently I worked Graham when he was Maritime Mobile, and I was on the bank of the River Crouch, stroke P, and also from his home. So the information there displayed, all the relevant details. Or you can look at it in the work before window here. It displays his IOTA number for us. At the same time as you've hit the call sign in, we can look at the chances of operating and working that station. Here's the circuit reliability map and the signal to noise ratio on that particular band with that particular prefix. So you get a good idea that it's pretty versatile in that respect. Right, that's the main display. The display for the recent QSOs can be edited, so you can display which columns you like by checking the boxes or unchecking the boxes as you will. Every field is available for display, and you can also drag the fields around, put them in a different position. And whilst you're editing the field, if you wish, you can change the appearance, change the size, and change the colour of the background, the selected rows, and so on. So fairly versatile and quite user-friendly. And it is built so that you can actually use the keyboard without having to grope around to find a rodent. So you can literally tab from one field to another, and it will take you through every field. So you can enter the data you want to. If you don't, if you're trying to enter a log where it's a paper log, and you want to do it a bit quicker than just entering it in here, we do have a facility called LazyLog, which enables you to enter old QSOs from the paper log very fast. There's a help menu there. If you just type in help, it shows you all of the commands you need to use. So to expand, mode, whatever. The cluster is very colourful. You can change the colours you desire to highlight for worked before, required, not worked, whatever. And the reliability column here shows you the reliability of the contacts. The higher the number, obviously, 94% reliability with Croatia tonight, apparently. Not that I need to work Croatia, but there you go. And only 34% for Bulgaria for some reason. And also it will tell you the origin of the cluster spot, where it came from. And it shows you that because with Log4OM, you can actually draw information from as many clusters as you want, up to 10 clusters. I'm using 4 at the moment, these 4 here in the lower part of the window. All the spots from those clusters are aggregated together so that you don't get loads and loads of duplicates in the cluster list. And gives you a very efficient cluster. And I'm also using the HRD log supercluster facility at the moment, which is adding those spots in as well. Quite a useful facility there. You can open all these from a different window if you want to have a separate cluster window. I'll show that one and then be using perhaps the recent QSO window. So everything's available. Let me just check that there's no one waiting to come in. I'm sure there's no, it looks like everyone's in, so that's all right. Just conscious other people will be trying to join, but looks like we're it. Okay. At that point, that's a very quick rundown. With those of you who have not used the program before, it is free. If you want to use QRZ.com, then you need to pay the premium to QRZ.com for the lookup, which I think is about $19 or something for an XML lookup. Without that, you won't get full detail like grid locators and states and things like that. You can use HamQTH, which is free of charge. Either will give you good results. But I happen to use QRZ, I have done for many years. At that point, gentlemen, I think I will start any questions you might have. And I will add that this is not a session where I'm here to cure the bugs or sort your immediate problems out. I'm here, if you want to know how to do something, I'll show you how to do it. If you need to know more about the program, I will tell you more about the program. Hunting for your problems will be handled on the forum or by email or on Facebook. So I think what we'll do is try and see how we can do it by using audio. If that doesn't work, then we'll do it by using a chat message. So you can send me a chat message and ask a question. So let's start off with audio. Anyone got a question?
Yeah, can I ask a question, Terry? Dave, AON.
Yeah, go on.
I've noticed that you were using several clusters, which look very convenient. I have an alternative way of doing that, and you've probably come across it. It's a utility program called WinTelNetX, which is a freeware program, and that allows you to combine various clusters like your own local CW Skinner server together with an external cluster like VE7CC. And you can turn them on and off at will, which I find quite handy. I don't know whether there's any advantage in one method or the other, but I've always used WinTelNetX, and I use that with N1MM as well, so you don't need to alter the configuration of anything other than the IP address to pick that up, and it's very easy to configure.
Well, I've never heard of WinTelNetX, whatever it's called. It's a new one on me, but we do integrate with cluster programs like CC User and AR User. It's quite simple. Not knowing how the cluster you're using works, it's hard for me to comment, but I would imagine that it has a UDP connection that goes through to N1MM.
Well, you can just pick it up from any logging program. I'll just send you the it's WinTelNetX if anybody wants it. There we are. That's how it's spelled.
Let me just have a look. I don't think I've got it on here. I just want to check I haven't got it.
No, no, no. It's a separate utility program where you get little windows pop up and you can connect each one to a cluster or to your own skimmer and things like that.
All right, so
For connecting IP addresses
I'd
together.
I'd have to look at that separately, Dave, and see what's going on with that one. I need to look that up on the internet. And just bear with me, I've got a couple of people joining in.
Do I have audio?
Good evening, gentlemen. We're part way through, so we'll have.
Can I have another question, Terry?
Yeah.
With the lookup of QRZ, is there a way of when you're running the net facility where you've got Fred from Grimsby as a friendly name, and it comes up with FR blogs from wherever from QRZ? Is there a way of forcing it so that the net control information is transferred to the log rather than looking it up on QRZ every time?
That's actually something I've got on the list to do, because on version 1, we always used to pull the name from your existing QSOs. So if you'd entered Fred instead of FR blogs, we would use that name instead of FR blogs. We missed it on this version 2, so it's on my list of things to add.
Oh, that's good. Thanks.
Okay. At the moment, the answer is no, but it will be added.
Smashing. Thanks.
There was a lot of discussion in version 1 as about how much of the information from old QSOs we should put into the input screen when you looked up a call sign. And it got very, very complicated because, you know, people move QTH, they change a different grid square. It wasn't reliable enough to pull all the information, and we decided in the end the only thing we could reliably pull without screwing things up was the name. So that's why we had the name in version 1 drawn from the QSOs rather than from QRZ or whoever. But we failed to do it in this. I don't know how we missed it, but it's on the list, trust me. Okay, next question.
Brendan, 8IXK. The supercluster, can that default to on when you start the program, or do you have to always manually start it?
Sorry, say that again. I'm having trouble hearing you.
Yeah, sorry, the supercluster.
Yeah.
Can that be defaulted on like the cluster, or do you have to always start it manually?
At this point in time, you have to press the button at the top here, which is that radio.
Yeah.
You have to click that. It's not persistent, and
Okay.
but it will be made persistent eventually. It's one of those minor jobs we've got on our list, like this thing with the name. There's probably a couple of dozen things like that we end up forgetting them or leaving them or pushing to one side because there's something more important. At the moment, for instance, we have a problem where a certain number of users are having crashes. You don't know why. Out of 30,000 plus users, there's probably 8, maybe 10 users suffering crashes, and we cannot get to the bottom of it. And we're looking at it now for about a month. So that's why things get pushed to the back of the queue.
Fair enough.
Next question.
Terry, I have a question. It's Robin, KGAV.
Dear Robin, good evening, Robin. That time you got here.
Yeah, I know. I was a little late.
You were drinking again, weren't you? After a lunchtime drink.
No, nothing that dramatic.
Well, cheers to that, mate.
I'm glad you are. I was recently working someone who was on an IOTA, and I didn't see where I could put that in the normal logging window. I had to go to the edit window.
What did you wanted to log his IOTA whilst you were talking to him, was that right?
Yes.
Okay. What you should have done, you'll see I've got OZ1W in the screen here.
Yes.
I think you might know him. And what you do is you go to the award reference tab here, the F3, select the award, IOTA, and then you'll have a list of the IOTA references for that particular entity. Select the IOTA entity, click plus, done.
All right. I thought I tried to do that and I couldn't do it, but I'll look again. Thank you, Terry.
Okay, next question.
Operator error.
I've just got a message here from, I don't know if any of you read it, but this is just a message to Dave. But I'm not sure this actually applies to him, Marcus, but not Marcus, sorry, Rich. I'm not sure this guy has that sort of connection he wants, but you can connect to things like CCUs or an AR cluster using the UDP connection, a direct connection. So you can have CC user do all your filtering of a cluster, and then it pumps it through to Log4OM. So that is a choice there. But it's all covered, shall I say, in the user guide. Right, next question, gentlemen.
Hello, Terry. This is Mike, M0PWL.
Yeah.
How do you go about automatically downloading QSLs?
Possibly downloading QSLs.
Yes.
You're talking about eQSL?
Yeah, eQSL and also QRZ.
Okay. You go to the, strangely enough, the QSL manager.
Yeah.
You select eQSL. Having done that, you click download confirmations. See that window?
Yeah.
If you want the actual cards, then you click download cards, that checkbox. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I've got the eQSLs working.
Yeah.
What I can't do is any of the other type.
What you can't do is what?
Like the other types of inputs you can use, like the QRZ.
The QRZ doesn't allow a download.
Right.
There's
Okay.
no download from QRZ. When you look at these here, there are only two which allow a download. It's eQSL, Logbook of the World.
Okay.
All
Right.
all the rest of these are purely upload.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. You
When
answered my question.
they provide a facility that allows us to download it, we'll do it. But if they don't provide a facility for us to do it, we can't give it to you.
Okay, that's fair enough.
Okay. Next question.
Terry, could we talk about Winkey?
Winkey, yeah.
Yeah, we've talked about this, I think, ourselves, but it would be very nice if there was an option for Winkey to start automatically when you logged on, when you loaded Log4OM, rather than having to manually connect it. I don't know if that's on the list, is it?
Yes, it's a bit of a difficult thing where we can get a window to reopen that was previously open. We do that with the band maps. If you have a band map open and you close Log4OM down, when you reopen Log4OM, the band map will reopen, and hopefully in the same position, unless you've got dual monitors, which might screw it up a bit.
Okay.
But doing it with Winkey, which is a slightly different function window, is a bit problematical. It's something we've been looking at doing, and we might have to buy a library. This is one of the big problems when you're providing software for free. You don't have a lot of finance to be able to go out and buy all the exotic libraries that people like Microsoft can buy, or if the other, paid for software can buy. And some of these libraries enable you to do some very tricky things and very good user support things.
Right.
We sort of toy with whether we spend the money, because there's a bit of a fine line between the income from donations, which generally pays for the server time most of the years. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes a little bit extra, and we could probably afford to buy a library. What would then happen is that the following year, if we didn't get enough income, we couldn't maintain it, because it's one of these things where you have to pay for it annually. So
I hadn't realised, sorry Terry, I hadn't realised it was that difficult, because obviously when when you can auto start the cluster. So whenever the program starts, the cluster will automatically start to run.
Yeah.
Rather than having to do it manually. And I didn't know whether the Winkey could be done in the same way, but it
Yeah.
sounds like it's rather difficult.
Slightly different type of window. It's all about the construction
And
of the program.
Mm.
I hope that's answered your question, Graham.
Yeah, and of course the other thing was that we've talked about again is whether it's reasonable to be able to minimize Winkey and it still works.
Doesn't it?
No, I think if you minimize it, it doesn't.
Well, no, beyond where it was, beyond the
I'll
white
have-
in
I'll have
oldest.
I'll have to check that. I'm not sure.
Okay.
Remind me about that tomorrow, Graham.
Yes, I will. Okay, Terry. Yeah. Well, I might be missing something here, but I think when I've tried to minimize it, because previously, I mean, I've now got this new monitor, but before when I had a small one, it was very, very nice to be able to minimize the Winkey rather than take up screen space.
Yeah.
Okay.
However, and I need to tilt this. See, if you look at my picture there,
Yeah.
there's black and white house.
Yeah.
Now you can see you, okay, because you're standing up. You can't see me, so we need to bring the back up to tilt the monitor forward.
Okay. Right.
I'm sorry, I can't hear what that is. Who's talking?
That's John talking to Jane.
Ah, right.
You need a bigger cushion, John. Then we can see your face.
I have a cunning plan, Graham.
Oh, what's that?
It'll sit on
I'm
Jane.
going to put a block of wood under the back of this monitor to tilt it down even more.
I see. Okay.
Next question, gentlemen.
When you download your EQSL cards, yeah,
Sorry, John. Say that?
when you've downloaded all your EQSL cards, yeah, where does it store them? So you can view them again. How do you get to view them once you've downloaded them in Log4OM?
I'm sorry, I'm having terrible trouble hearing you. It's mainly my fault because I don't know if you can see, but I wear 2 hearing aids. So I have great difficulty hearing people.
John's question is, when you've downloaded the EQSL cards,
Yeah,
how would you get to see them on
Right.
the?
with great difficulty, John, with enormous amount of difficulty because we haven't added the feature to display them yet.
That's fair enough.
That's fair enough.
Seen the
But
folder.
What you can do, if you go to the help menu and open the config folder, in there, you will find, oh, of course, it's not this. Bear with me. This is a test program. I've got to open my own one. Bear with me.
I've seen the folder where it downloads the JPEGs. Or
Yeah, that's what I'm just going to show you. Right. If you look at attachments, look in the attachments folder, you can open the folder and you see by year, you can look at the cards and then you'll get the card. Okay.
Yeah.
So you can get to the card, it's there, it's saved in that particular folder, which is called attachments. But at the moment, we haven't included a viewer. We need to add the viewer. Where we will be putting it is in the QSL part of the edit window. So when you look at the QSL info window, there will be a button here that says display card, and it will bring the card up for you.
Yeah.
Okay. But at the moment, that's one of our future developments.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
Yep.
Next question.
Hi, Terry. This is CT1DXX. Are you hearing me, Terry?
Sorry, say that again.
Terry, this is Charlie Tango 1, Bravo X-ray X-ray. Do you hear me?
You're very garbled with me.
CT1BXX, Terry.
Yeah.
Okay, that's it. My question is, can you explain the use about the custom on QSL? Because we have something that I can't realize how it works, the custom, okay?
John, can you tell me what's he said?
I didn't catch it, Terry. It broke up, I'm afraid. Sorry.
No, it's quite garbled. Can
Yeah.
anyone tell me what was said then?
The QSL manager, there's a choice custom besides logbook of the world and everything else. He wants to know how the customs works.
Okay, QSL manager custom. This is the one you're talking about here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. What custom is for? In some situations with awards, you might find that they don't actually want a QSL card, but they will customize a confirmation, and that's for a future eventuality where one of the award systems like SOTA or IOTA or one of those has a different type of custom confirmation for the QSO to qualify for an award. So that again is there basically as a header, a placekeeper. Yeah, placeholder.
Okay. Okay.
Next question, gents. I'm sorry about the hearing problem, but it really is an aggravation. Normally I wear headphones, but I can't wear them on this tonight. Next question.
Hey, Terry, it's Chris, NJ5N. Can you hear me?
Sorry, say again?
Yeah, this is NJ5N. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay. I was wondering about the, when I look at the awards progress, I have some that are confirmed versus most that are verified, and I'm trying to figure out what changes. When I imported them out of 330 or so countries, and maybe 20 of them will come back as confirmed and the rest are verified, and they're all in L2W, but I don't know why they didn't come as verified versus confirmed and how to change them.
So they've already been verified by Logbook of the World or whoever?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Have you tried a full download from Logbook of the World?
I thought I did, but maybe I did it incorrectly. I read the instructions, so maybe I need to do it again, but I thought I did it, and it still showed some as confirmed and most of them as verified.
Yeah, okay. Were those ones which you know are verified but are marked confirmed, were they by QSL card?
They well could have been early on, yes. Yes, they could have been. And, you know, when they moved them from cards into LTW,
okay.
possibly that's those.
That's quite a simple thing for you to cure. If you go to the QSL manager and you go to Logbook of the World, when you go to download here, there's a new facility with Logbook of the World. It's only been there for about 6 months, 9 months maybe, where when we do a download, it will also not only download your Logbook of the World electronic confirmations, it will download anything you've had verified by card or a card checker. If you click the box that says retrieve credited QSLs, you'll notice it says slow because it's quite a slow process. This time when you download, you'll get all those other confirmations as well.
Okay, so that would change them to verify when they come down.
That's right. You've got to just check that box though. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. Thank you very much.
Okay. Next question. I'll have a sip while you think of a question. Okay, well, looks like we've run out of questions, gentlemen. Anything you would like me to show you how it works, or no?
Well, the problem is if I ask you a question that's come to mind, you'll say, read the bloody manual, Terry.
Now, would I say that to you, Graham?
Yes, you would. No, okay. Yes, you would. No, I'm just because it might be something that other people are interested in. This
name the devil. Ask the question.
All right. This example that you showed me a picture on Skype of this messenger service. How do you get into it and how do you use it?
Ah, well, this is something that none of you have seen yet, so it might be a good idea to show you. John.
Okay.
John, have you got your Log4OM running?
No, but I can do.
Get it up and running, mate, and log in.
All right.
I'll do this with John. This is a feature that we haven't yet released.
Ah.
So
So it's probably not in the manual then.
it is in the menu, actually. Yes, I've already put it in there.
Oh, right.
Okay. However, we haven't actually released it. It won't be until we get the next release. But what it is, basically, enables you to have a chat conversation with a friend. So this is the window as it is at the moment. This may change, of course, with time, because this is actually the alpha version. What it does is when it's connected, it goes to a server and it picks up all the active people on the server. You can see on the right-hand side is a list of call signs. Okay? From all around the world. And all those people are logged into a server. Happens that we're using, this one we're using here is the grid tracker server, because Tag Loomis is a friend of mine and we're using his server for the time being. So if I want to talk to John, I type in GI0. Oh, I don't even have to do that, silly boy.
I just sent you a hello, Terry.
Show friends, are you on?
Yes, sir.
Oh no, we got okay, fair enough. So you see, I've typed in a message down the bottom here. Hi, how are you? And when I click send, that should go to him. Oh, I haven't got him selected. Bear with me. I'm not seeing you, Nolan. Not in the list.
I'm still here. I'm still here, Terry. I'm looking at my phone now.
Okay. Sean, are you on yet?
I can't see to minimise any of these windows, Terry. I can't get at it.
Okay.
For some reason.
Well, I'm going to have to just explain this to you folks. You see that you've got all these call signs. Now, if one of your friends is on there, in this case, I've got a couple that are normally on. Normally it would be John GI0HWO. Type in his call sign, and I can now send a message to him by typing into the lower box here and hitting return. If he was online, that message would appear in the top of the window and he would then be able to reply to me. And basically, it's a case of perhaps you want to have a chat to Robin, Graham.
Yeah.
And you'll look on here and you'll say to Robin, are you around? And he'll say, yes, I am, but I'm doing whatever. I can't come on here. Or, yes, I'll see you on 14120 or whatever. So it's a chat system that it will help our users and see if this will work. Gotcha. There we go. This will work now. I've got
where did you
see what's happening. I'm talking to KD0ZV. He says, where's our wine? And I've asked him how he is. And no, I'm sorry that the wine's gone.
Where did you open this, Terry? I didn't see where you got it from.
Okay, I'll close it down. It opens from the connect. You want to connect to off-air message. Okay.
Right.
And then
is that on the latest release?
It will be on the next release.
Okay, that's why I couldn't find it then. All right. Okay, thank you.
Okay, so you pick up the person from the list. So I've typed in KD0. He's brought up all the KD0s that are available. I will now mark him as a friend. Put a little star by him. So now in future I can just click him up. He'll come up as a friend.
Very good.
No wine or there you go.
Right.
So that's a new feature to look forward to.
Very good.
Terry?
Yeah.
I've now got it going, so I'm in the message. on Log4OM.
You did what? Sorry.
He's got it going.
I've got yeah, got message going.
Okay, I've just finished with it, John.
Oh right.
But I'll just put it up again. Look, there's John. And I can say, hi, John. Send a message back, John. There you go. I need a scotch. So do I. Okay.
Very good.
End of that one. Anything else you want to be showing people?
Just a question, Terry. I raised it as a suggestion, and it's to do with the grid squares. If you put in the, I'll give you an example call sign, G3 November Oscar Papa. If you put that in as a call sign, you'll find that it comes up with a grid square of London. It's one of those rogue squares.
G's 3 November Oscar.
Yeah, P for Papa.
P for Papa, yeah. Well, it comes up with IO 91 VI.
One of these, yeah, it comes up with one of these Duff grid squares for London. If you look at the map on Main,
yeah,
you'll see it shows him in London.
Yeah.
And that's a rogue grid square that comes up for a lot of stations. Well, a lot of G stations have never bothered to update QRZ, and so they end up with that grid square, and you get the same disease in Yorkshire. So if he was on VHF or UHF,
yeah,
someone with a rotator would end up pointing their beam in the wrong direction, as likely as not.
But if you look at his detail on his bio, he's not got a grid square at all.
Yes, except
well, that's because he's okay.
Yeah, but you'll see up there on grid in the pale green background, it gives you a grid of IO 91 VL in London.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, it's about 200 miles north of London. And
yeah,
it gives you a Duff bearing as well.
Dave, if he doesn't put a grid square in, we can't do anything about it.
Yeah, but I was just wondering if you could have in the program a means of blanking out those grid squares. I've asked QRZ about it and they haven't done anything. But if we could have a list of rogue squares to avoid, there's about 500 stations that are at that grid square because they've never bothered updating QRZ. And there's about 15.
Anybody who doesn't enter a grid square, if there's no grid square, doesn't matter who it is, we're going to find a grid square in the middle of the country.
That's right. That's a bit of a nuisance, and you'll find there's about 1,500 stations at 0 degrees latitude and 0 degrees longitude off the west coast of Africa.
That's right. That's because they haven't entered the grid square in the program. That's a different one.
Ah, well, it's Duff information from QRZ, but I didn't know whether we could have at some stage a list of grid squares to blank out or avoid. It would be quite handy rather than, I've done it a few times to accidentally point the beam in the wrong direction.
That's all right, Dave. What happens when somebody comes up who actually does live in that grid square?
Well, it's hard luck if they live in Fulham.
Yeah, but you know, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is the problem. It's very difficult to legislate for every eventuality. The best you could probably do with that is to put it on an exception list for the actual call sign and say, if this call sign appears, do not use a grid square.
Yeah, but I don't quite know how you do that. It was just a thought as whether it's possible to have something that just blanks out these rogue squares.
You can't blank out a grid square, Dave, because then you blank it out for everybody. And you'd be blanking out grid squares all over the world. You'd have thousands of them. But you can't blank out grid squares, but you could make the call sign an exception. There's a possibility we could do that. I'll have to have a think about that one day, but it's not quite as simple as you would think, you know?
Yeah, it was just a thought.
Yeah, when I talk to people, when that comes up, on VHF, I can tell they're not in that particular square. So I asked them to go ahead and update QRZ.com.
Yeah,
And
I've asked this particular station and one or two others, and they don't take any notice. They just say, oh, it's too difficult. I don't know how to do it, and they just ignore it.
some of
It's
them
really
don't.
down to the user, isn't it?
Oh yes, yes.
When you work these stations, do they actually know their grid square?
No, they don't, Terry. That's the problem.
Then you're a bit stuffed, aren't you? You know, if they
I
could
mean,
tell, if you could tell, if they could tell you a grid square, you could enter it.
yeah, if even some of the guys I've worked, at least 5 have said they haven't even put anything in QRZ, but their call sign comes up, even though they haven't entered anything.
Well,
So
they may not have done, because QRZ gets the information straight from the licensing authority.
Okay,
You get put into QRZ whether you want it or not.
got you.
The same as in America, they take it from the FCC information. In the UK, it's from Ofcom, and there are other countries similar. So, you know, they're scraping the information from everywhere. And if it's just basic information scraped from a licensing authority, it's not going to have the detail. It relies on the user putting the detail in. And again, it's the old story with computers: garbage in, garbage out.
Yeah. If it's any consolation, I did raise it as an idea with QRZ, with the people behind that, and they said they're looking into it, but whether anything will change, I don't know.
Well, knowing Fred Lloyd, I doubt it. Next question. John's okay, he's got a cup of coffee. No more questions? Nolan, why are you still muted?
Come on.
You're there. Looks like Doug's muted as well. Evening, Doug. I've got you now. You're unmuted.
Good evening, Terry. Sorry, I joined you late. I got busy with something else.
Don't worry about it. You're a busy man. Unlike me, I'm retired. I've got all the time in the world.
Well, I'm retired
Doug,
too. But,
the information of you Herberts out there, Doug is one of our alpha tester team, as is Nolan.
And Rich is in the queue as well there.
They're all there. They creep out of woodwork. Right, any more questions, gentlemen, or I'll wind it up?
Thanks for tonight, Terry. Really interesting. Thank you.
Okie doke. Well, we'll see how we go. Do another one. We're doing, for the UK English guys, I'm doing one with the Dover Radio Club next month, which, knowing the club, they'll probably get about 40 or 50 people on Zoom. So that should be much more interesting and much more controlled. So there you go. Have a good evening, gentlemen. Thank you for joining. Do appreciate it.
Thank you, Terry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Terry.
Bye.
Thank you, Terry.
Cheers, boss.